guys, Gosselin here, and I have update number 2 for honoring our heroes, Canadians, past, present, and future group build. And alright, so it's been a week. So what do I got? Been working on the chassis, the frame, and here we are. And so far so good. I'm pretty impressed with it. I'm just going to take out my exhaust pipe. I didn't glue it yet. I'm still playing with it. But yeah, we'll start with the exhaust pipe. Why not? Yeah, so what did I do? I kind of gave it a little bit of texture. I'll take a picture of it later. With baking soda. And yeah, I just take my brush and I kind of dilute a little bit of glue and I just kind of brush it on. I did it in pieces, and it's kind of like shake and bake working with a pork chop. I just brushed it with glue, threw it in a little container with the powder, shake it, pull it out, tap it off, and let it dry. And then I continued doing all the different phases of it. So now it's pretty good, and this stuff looks pretty sweet, and I'm happy with it. So let's go back to the frame. Everything went together really well. I know in my last video I was talking about, I was very concerned about the plastic because, you know, this is an old model. It's almost as old as me. I think I was probably just 1 year old in 1976. So it's kind of cool. But yeah, it's not really cracking or doing anything crazy. It's sands really well, files pretty well. It snaps off the sprues with a snip cutter pretty well, so I'm happy. And everything came together really well. I'm very impressed with the engineering of this kit. I've been trying to do some research on the Peerless Max company. Not much online, so I'm going to go seek out the modeling wisdom of some of the elders in my IPMS chapter who've been building models since the late 1940s. So I feel kind of privileged to have such people in close access with. But yeah, I like to hear what their take is on it, and maybe do a little history on that company. From what I can read or research, it looks like Italy either bought them out or purchased the plastic dies, because basically this is an Italy kit. So but they bought it from Peerless. So yeah, it all came together well. A little bit of flash, and there were a few trimming areas where I had to do all these drive thingies, but not a big deal. I'm not really concerned about that, and everything fit together really well so far. Found some more sinkholes here and here, but I just filled it and sanded it. And one of the beauties of working with military models is you can always hide things. So I mean, this is just going to get coated with some sort of weathering pigments or whatever, so I can hide all the little doodads. Yeah, so there's the frame. Pretty cool. And also in my video I talked about I was missing a part, and that also is not true. I found it in one of the little baggies, so all the parts were present, and I'm happy with that. And yeah, the rubber wheels also. I'm going to use the rubber wheels. I just had the seam line. I just took a very sharp brand new X-Acto blade and I just kind of trimmed all that rubber off. And again, the wheels will be weathered. I'm not too sure what I'm going to do. I might probably just stick with pastels with the wheels just to prevent any kind of chemistry mojo between rubber and paint and glue, and just kind of leave it au naturel. But that should cover up any little doodads on the tires, so that's okay. Yeah, I guess I'll apologize, but some of the guys in the UK weren't able to see my update number 1, most likely because of music. It's such a pain. Hopefully, I don't know, copyrights in music, it's always it's corporations and stuff. But yeah, so because I put on a Rush song, because, you know, Rush is Canadian and Canada's awesome. So it accepted it. YouTube accepted it with the third-party button, but some of the people couldn't watch it in England, UK. So I'll do away with Plain Rush, even though I listen to that constantly when I build models. So I can live without it. It'll be okay. And I'll try. I'll see if the other song I used for my intro for my video causes any problems. I don't think so, because I use the same music when I did my IPMS Nationals videos, and nobody seems to have any problems accessing it. So all these little hurdles, but yeah. So there's the music part. Also in the last video, I use Windows Live Video Maker, and I can put captions in my slides, but I can't change color. So at the end of my video, I had slides, and one was a black and white picture of David Vivian Curry, the winner of the Victoria Cross, and I wanted to make a caption of where he was in the picture, because there's a lot of people in it, but he's the one with a pistol and binoculars, so he's kind of left of center in the picture, a little bit in the background. So if you want to go back to that and check that out, that's pretty cool. And yeah, so what's new? What is new? I started drilling out my grill, so I'm going to go forward with putting in a photo etch grill for the engine. So here it is. Chopped it right up. Took my Dremel, my rotary tool, and I started out, just drilled a bunch of pilot holes all the way around. And I wanted to preserve this middle piece as much as possible, because I need to have something for the photo etch grill to glue into. So I'm going to try to save that if I can. And once I made all my drill holes, I just went and took my drill and just kind of squared it out. So now all I got to do is file it, sand it, and trim it, and hopefully it works out okay. One thing I ran into, just kind of like a food for thought, or just sharing general information with your drill bits. Drill bits, you want to make sure your bits are brand new, or new. You're going to find out if your drill is dull. You're going to find out it's dull because it's going to melt. As soon as you start going into the plastic, it's going to clog up all the threads. So throw those out. Those are no good. Use sharp drill bits. The only case in point would be when you drill, it should look like this. I left some hair. You should be getting some nice filings of drilling hair. And at the very tip here, it's melted plastic, because that's where I was using as a cutter. But that's normal, because you're using a lot of friction and it's going to melt. But you should be getting all these little fuzzies. And but once the fuzzies start coming, yeah, it's time to swap out those bits. So yeah, so there's that. And I got really nothing else to talk about. What I'm probably going to do is take the camera and bring it down to workbench eye level, and I'm going to probably do a little bit of a live build and ramble about some of the stuff that I've seen of other builders in the group build honoring our heroes. So hold on just a second while I move the camera. Alright, so I haven't filmed at this camera eye angle in a while. I think when I first started building, not building, but making videos, I was using this angle because I had no idea what I was doing, and I just improvised, and so I have no idea at this point. I'm doing an experiment because I'm shooting at a totally different angle, and I have no idea if you guys can even see. I'm trying to make sure I'm in the line of fire of the camera eye. So we'll see what happens. This is all just an experiment. So I'm going to be talking to myself if nobody is seeing any of this, which is okay, So yeah, this drilling thing worked out really well. I tried as much as possible to use my rotary tool and trim the inside before drilling, because you want the plastic ideally to be thin when you're drilling it. That way it's less wear and tear on your drill bit, and it's a lot faster and safer to pop out. In this case, it's just a hard area to use the rotary tool because it's not small enough to really work in there. So most of it was just drilling it as I saw it. It was thick, but it worked out, so I'm not going to complain too much. And then yeah, there's a whole lot of debris in here working this stuff out. So now I'm going to be talking to all of you and working at the same time. That could pose a challenge. I'm not too sure. So we're approaching the holidays, and I don't know. I probably I don't have a I don't film with a video camera. I just use a point and shoot Canon like picture taking thing that has a video thing on it. And so one of the things, unfortunately, is I've been using a lot of batteries. I think I've spent just enough money on batteries since last March to actually, I probably could have bought a video camera. So I don't know, I think that's kind of like it's not a very good investment or money spent wisely, but I really didn't know what I was doing at the time, which is usually the case for a lot of us. And hopefully for the holidays, my wife, Mrs. Gosselin, has suggested that maybe get a camera, which would be great, so that way I can stop buying batteries and wasting money. And hopefully that'll work out. I don't know anything. I haven't used cameras or any kind of digital stuff since the 90s. Never had a reason to, because I was busy with school and other stuff. But yeah, that'd be kind of cool, because then I could, looking forward to maybe next year doing some different stuff. There's a lot of things on the table or on the plate that I'd like to film, and hopefully I can kind of change up my workbench. I want to pick up a one of those green cutting mats. I just think the contrast color works a lot better than what I'm working with right now. Yep. What else I want to talk about? Yeah, the group builds. So again, I want to give a big shout out to Norm Lajoie and Storm22 TPT. Guys, this has been a really cool group build. I like the theme and the idea behind it, and you know, you can really, I mean, I don't know what you guys are, I don't really talk to you guys on a regular basis, but I know some people have been talking about maybe making this an annual thing, which I think a lot of other group builds, I know my D-Day group build, there's been a little bit of talk about that, and I have no, I think that'd be a good thing, because I think there's just so many builds. I mean, D-Day is such a huge scope that you could be doing that for a long time, building different subject matters. But the Canadian thing is also pretty cool, and you can also do other countries, other Commonwealth countries, maybe Australian or New Zealand, or other countries, you know. I mean, you can honor just about anyone who has been defending freedom. So it's cool. All these group builds, I mean, even like I know Warren Blanche, he kind of did something with the American aircraft of the 20th century, which I think came after Jim Parashakis's German Aces of the 20th century. So I mean, this stuff can just go on and on and on and on, and I think it's very exciting. And I don't know, this whole YouTube video group builds on the YouTube community, it's very exciting. I try not to get too overwhelmed about it anymore. You know, I just try to, I join the group builds that I can do. You know, I guess it's all about timing. Like this kit, you know, Norm and Storm announced this group build just before I went shopping to the model shows, so I was able to pick up some stuff. And you know, there's a bunch of other group builds going on that I would like to get involved with, like Erin Newland. She's got that trainer group build coming up. I don't know if it started yet. I mean, I would love to get in on it, but at the moment I just don't have anything in my stash that I would be interested in building. And yeah, I'm not going to be doing, my model shows are kind of done till February, so I try not to spend too much money on models. I try to be frugal about it, and the model show is right now the cheapest place for me to get models, because I'm buying models from other model builders who are just cleaning their stashes out, and they're not looking to make a profit. They're just make a few bucks so they can go buy more models. It's a very strange circle. It's okay though. I mean, there's a lot of worse things we can be doing with our money. So yeah, I'm trying not to I'm finding that talking on a camera and trying to work with a very sharp instrument, doing this kind of cut work is ludicrous. I'm going to end up slicing my finger, and then you're going to see me fall off the bench, and I'm going to be saying all sorts of strange swears. In fact, this is a Canadian group build, and my family background is French Canadian, so I know a few French bad words that my father actually I grew up with a lot of French speaking people in my town of New Hampshire. I was raised in Manchester, New Hampshire, and I lived on the west side, and it's pretty much all French. You got all these French streets that I grew up around. I grew up on Joliet, Laval, Essex, Mercier, and they went on and on and on, which is kind of cool. I mean, there's still, if you go to the grocery stores even today, you might still hear some of the older people speaking in French, which is kind of cool because it's kind of disappearing. Most of it's all English now. But it's kind of cool because, like, in the intersections of the west side, they still they paint the fleur-de-lis on the intersection. And then if you're over in the Irish section, they got the shamrock. So it's kind of cool because they don't build cities like that anymore. Back in the early 20th century and late 19th century in the United States on the East Coast, that's kind of how the cities were planned out. The French or the Canadians had their section, the Germans had theirs, and the Irish and the Italians and the Greek, Polish. So it's all very cultural. And then you had all these like really cool cultural shops, different foods and things. So we still got Gé Vachon over on downtown of the west side, and they still make some really great crepes. They're the best crepes I've ever had. Well, maybe not. I think I was in Quebec City in 1998, and a friend of mine who lives right across the St. Lawrence in the town of La Vie, his mother made me some really nice crepes, and they were very tasty. So yes, the best crepes are in Quebec. Okay. So there's my little rambling on that. Yeah. So actually, I remember when I was a very small child, my great aunt, because all my family spoke French, and I remember speaking a little bit. They were trying to teach me things, but unfortunately they passed away, and that language concept goes away. My father speaks fluent French, which is kind of cool, and he's been able to use it when he goes on vacations and stuff. I remember he was somewhere. He was out in Las Vegas area, I think, and my mother and my father were out touring, and there was a Haitian couple, and they had some a situation where their English wasn't the best, and my father was able to help out doing a little translation, which they were very, very thankful for. And that's kind of cool. Having a second language is kind of neat. I studied Spanish in school. I have just about enough Spanish under my belt that I can ask for food and a plane ticket to go back home to the United States. So it doesn't say much, but I'm always very not envious, but I'm always very interested. I have found people who can speak multiple languages is very fascinating. Because for me, I just find it very hard, very challenging. I suppose if you dropped me in Spain for a year and said, here you go, Russ, make the best of it, I'm sure I'd be a fluent speaker, because your survival skills will kick in, and you're going to have to learn to adapt, which has been something of a good thing, I think. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm kind of mostly just talking. I'm not really cutting because I'm afraid I'm going to slice myself right open. I've had way too many cuts in my childhood building models. I still remember them, and they sucked. But now I would like to think I'm a better cutter, a little bit more safe, using more safe techniques. And we'll see what happens. I'm sure I'm long overdue for a nice laceration. Hopefully I just don't need stitches, because that would stink, because then I wouldn't be able to build. I'm trying to think, who was it? I think Alex Modeling. He was making a video, and he sliced his finger. He had a huge, gauze thing wrapped around his finger. Oh, the trials and tribulations of model building, I guess. So yeah, who have I been watching? I've been trying to watch as many people out there who are in this group build. I don't know if Norm and Storm are going to make kind of like a, when they do one of their videos, just kind of talking about all the different people involved. It'd be kind of nice if they made a list. So maybe if you guys are listening, you could, maybe you've already figured that out, but I'd just reiterate. It'd be kind of cool, maybe get like a list or something of who's actually in it, just so that other people can go find their videos. Because I found a few people just by pure chance, because obviously they got Honor Our Heroes title, and it shows up on the sidebar on the YouTube screen, and I was able to find a bunch of guys this morning who I've never heard of before. I can't remember your names off the top of my head, but I definitely subscribed and looking into it. So I have watched Cohen's, and he's building that Leopard 2. I think I haven't finished all of his updates yet. I think I watched one. What I did is I just listened to it and I built my model, which was kind of cool. But I think I completely forgot to make a comment, because I was, after the video had stopped, I just kept on building, because I was kind of in a groove where I wanted to keep building. And I think I watched Norm. He's working on that Grizzly, which is kind of cool. I think somebody else is doing it. There's a bunch of people doing the Grizzly. There's Mark O'Neill, I think, is doing one, and another fella who I just subscribed to. I should have, actually, you know what, I wrote their names down somewhere. Who was it? I think it's John Millberry or Gary Mooney. I know both of you guys are in the group build. One of you is building the Grizzly. I don't remember which one, but it looks pretty cool. I'm gonna have to build. I don't build modern stuff. I was talking with Cohen maybe a month or two ago, and we were talking about how we're kind of mostly just World War II guys. But I definitely want to try modern stuff. I mean, there's such a great resource in our community. I mean, think of people like Storm and Norm and Al and even Fazaloy, Peter, you know, they're all, and I'm sure there's probably 50 other modern armor guys out there. I just don't know who they are. But yeah, so the resources are all out there. I mean, and they are kind of cool. I mean, I do have an M1 Abrams in the stash, and I have a Bradley. They're the older Tamiya kits. But yeah, I don't get jazzed up like I do when I see a World War II piece, or you know, I think it kind of has an ebb and flow. I mean, maybe just kind of have to get the interest going, and we'll see what happens. But I started the M1 Abrams. I'm working on a little scratch building some of the Thingamajiggies. What is a thingamajiggy? I don't know. I can't think of the word right now because I'm over concentrating on my piece here. Who else am I watching? Then there's a bunch of aircraft being built. Nigel Wells is building a plane, and Chris and Alex Modeling, they're also doing another aircraft. Waterloo 745, I think. He's building an aircraft. I think I watched it last night maybe. But yeah, it's kind of cool. I was really bummed when Cohen, because his boat, he was going to do the Halifax, and it'd be kind of cool to get every air, land, and sea represented. But shipbuilding is such a long process, and it's also very expensive. I don't know what hobby shops are like where you are from, but over here in my part of the United States, ships are getting ridiculous. I only own a few ships, and I paid very little for them, but because I found some nice deals. But if you go like at the hobby shop, I mean, even a 1/700 scale ship, you're looking at like a $25–30 model, and I'm like, that's just it's a bit much. Don't know exactly what's bringing the price so high for those. I mean, all model kits are going up, but ships, it's just like you would think they'd be a little lower. I don't know. And then, you know, a lot of these ships too, you want to add a lot of detail, and you start investing in some photo etch for all your rails and riggings and things. But definitely ships are pretty cool. I'd like to get more into it. And then the history behind the ships. The ships are almost like aircraft. You know, aircraft, you know, they have nose art and they have a personality, because you can like study the person who flew the fighter, and it just makes it much more exciting. And then the same way for ships, they have their own personality, they have their own history, which is very interesting. So I was doing some research on my D-Day group build. I'm trying to just throw out a lot of resource out there for people, and just doing history of all the ships. I mean, there's a lot of ships that participated in that operation. Now I was just hitting just Omaha Beach alone, but you know, I found plenty of material, and that's just really cool stuff. And then try to find out what the paint scheme was like at the actual day. That's all very neat. Yeah, so the research, it gets kind of crazy, but if you like research, if you like me, it's all good, it's all fun. You know, I think model builders, you know, we should not only show our stashes to one another, but I bet you we should show our libraries. I mean, good God, I mean, think about all the books a lot of us probably own. You know, it'd be one heck of a library. And books I own, I mean, I am always constantly picking up books wherever I can get them. I found that eBay, if you search eBay on a regular basis, you are most likely going to hit a mother load where usually a model builder is retiring due to health issues or whatever, and they're just dumping their entire modeling estate for reasons I'm not too sure. Maybe they don't have a club that they can donate their stuff to, or whatnot. But I've been very fortunate that over the last couple of years, there are some gentlemen who closed up shop. Maybe they owned a store, or they were a huge model builder, but they're just dumping books and tools and stuff, and I was able to pick up that stuff. And surprisingly, nobody was really bidding against me, which is always kind of mind-boggling. But I was able to pick up a bunch of stuff, so that was kind of cool. So yeah, just keep an eye on that stuff, especially if you're into scratch building like myself. The pictures and the books, are really great. The internet is also a great resource too, and it's for the moment it's a free resource. I don't know how long that's going to continue. I guess it's what I've noticed is that some people on our sites, they're making they have like a program where the copyright protection of the picture is protected and you can't download it, but there's also thousands of pictures that they're not, and my computer is definitely, I got folders and folders of just JPEGs of reference pictures that people are just been willing to share, either intentionally or not, and it's on Google, so I just download it and throw it in my folders, and I have tons of folders and they're all organized, so if I needed to look at something like an SD KFC 333, you know, I got a folder full of walk around pictures and stuff. And so yeah, it's free stuff. So free is good. I like free. Usually can't get much for free, but sometimes you do, and that's okay. Alrighty, it's coming along pretty well. I got most of the bits off. And so now I work on my file. So at this point I'm trying to think about what I'm doing. I got it opened, and there's going to be the photo etch. It's going to be on the inside. What's going to happen here is here's the radiator, and that's going to go right here, and this piece will eventually just sort of pop in, something like that. What I'm going to have to do is box in around the radiator in this front so that you can't see anything coming through. But that's what it looks like in reality. That's kind of the screen. So that's going to look really sharp. It looks a lot better than the original piece where it would have been totally blocked and you couldn't see the radiator, which is kind of funny. I don't know why you bother with the radiator. There's no engine. But they got the radiator. So maybe they planned that people would scratch build it. I don't know. But I'm glad they did that. And just continue my filing. There's a few other areas I want to scratch build on this kit. I may do some stuff in the interior. I'm not sure. You can open up doors and stuff so that you can see the inside. That's an alternative I'm looking into. Or I may just close it up. I really don't know yet. I really don't know how much I want to put into the model as far as scratch building. Because I like scratch building, I enjoy doing it, but it is time consuming, and sometimes it does slow down your deadlines if you've got other stuff you want to build. Again, it's all a matter of taste and style. I suppose if I were to enter this into competition, I would probably pull out all the stops and jazz it up. Right now in the model building competitive world, having interiors with full details, they seem to be very attractive in the amongst the audience and judges and stuff. That's what I'm kind of blown away. Usually, yeah, I mean, if you get a lot of open top vehicles, they usually blow out the competition. So try not to digress into the world of competition, because not everybody does that. I happen to do it. For me, it's something I enjoy doing. I learn stuff from it, but it's one alternative of model building, and a lot of people just build for fun, which I think is a good thing. I would, because that's really what it's all about at the end of the day. Competition's nice, but I think it can, like anything in life, people can kind of ruin. It can be a real killer for the hobby for some people, and I've seen it happen, and it's a little disturbing. I've had some talks with some guys in my club about some, award-winning model builders, they covet their modeling skills and they don't really share, and I don't know, it's kind of like teachers who don't share their lesson plans. If they have a real good lesson plan, they don't share it with other teachers, and so, I don't know, it's kind of silly, actually. I'd rather not talk about it on this group build video, because this is about the group build. But here I am talking to myself. So these are things that I kind of think about a lot, I guess. I mean, I watch other guys' videos, and you guys ramble on about all kinds of crazy stuff. So I don't know why I'm so conscientious about talking about things that concern me. It's all about freedom. It's not saying anything offensive, but there it is. It's coming around pretty well. I don't know what I'm going to do as far as, I don't know if you can see it, but there are some little bolts. What I might do is completely file everything off straight, and I'll probably add in some styrene, and then I got some photo etch. I think Verlinden, they try to, I don't own any Grant Line bolts at the moment, but I got some photo etch bolts from Verlinden, and I guess they're as good as anything, and I might as well use them. Maybe I'll slap those on. So yeah, I think I really rambled. I was talking about scratch building, and I think the other thing I'm gonna do is this is the cover, and it has a the spare wheel has a rack, and I got a bunch of walk around pictures of a restored quad tractor, and they took a lot of pictures of that rack system, so I might completely scratch build it, because the kit piece, it doesn't look that great, and so they used a lot of square bend metal, and I'm just going to use some plastic stuff from Evergreen scale models and build my own. So that's probably the second major scratch build I'm going to do. And all the other ones are just, we'll see what happens. I haven't committed to anything else yet, other than maybe a little bit of lead foil pieces on the model. So yeah, that's a lot of work on this thing. I'm going to be filing this thing for a while. Yeah, but I think it's going to come out really sharp when it's all done. So yeah, this kit, again, 1976, and I'm still just blown away by how great this kit is coming along. It's as good as an early Dragon model without all the problems. Problems being, you can actually read the instructions. The instructions make sense, and the people who engineered this model really thought about how it's all going to come together, and so it really, other than a little bit of flash, this kit's definitely worthy of an early Dragon kit. I think it's more complex than a Tamiya model. I think, yeah, Tamiya, I mean, a lot of people comment that Tamiya is pretty simple to make, and for the most part, I agree with them. There's a few exceptions out there, but I can't think of any at the moment. Although I would have to say that Rommel half-track, the SD-KFC 250/3, that's a vintage Tamiya, and actually it has length tracks. I wonder if they were the first ones to make it. I remember when I built those as a kid, I remember having a hard time with it. It was very stressful. But for the most part, yeah, Tamiya kits are pretty big, which is good, especially if you're a young or a new model builder. Some of these kits are so complex now that I wonder if you're kind of pushing people away from the hobby, or pushing them closer. I don't know. That'd be an interesting survey for model builders, but I don't know. It was interesting. Kind of cool to interview, even young, when I was a kid building models, I just sat in the basement and worked on them. had a few reference books that maybe my father would get me for the holidays or a birthday, but for the most part I just built it and never really get worked up about anything. So now though, you're thinking of like model building for a new person, I think it could be a little overwhelming, maybe a little scary to be building a model, because I wonder if like we're setting the bar too high for young people, you know. If I was working with some young people, which I'm considering actually starting up a club at the school that I work with. I've talked to some teachers and they think it's a pretty good idea. So now I'd have to go and kind of sell it to the administration and see what they think, but I'm pretty confident it'll work out pretty well. But yeah, I think if I do it though, I want to keep the model building kind of simple. Keep it simple, make it fun. You know, if they want to get crazy later on and as I get older, fine, because that's what I'm doing now. I mean, I'm scratch building this crazy puppy. Some people think I'm totally out of my mind. So I know scratch building is not for everyone. To be honest, I really don't know why. I think it's the challenge. And the challenge and the pursuit of detail. Not so much accuracy, but detail. You know, I definitely don't consider myself a rivet counter or rivet head as they're being termed these days. It's kind of a naughty word out there in our community. Yeah, they're strange people. Sometimes maybe they're just misunderstood. I don't know. I'm sure the commentary on this video is probably going to go off like a rocket. People are going to be commenting about all this stuff. Not that I'm trying to stir the pot or anything, but I don't know. I think some people just don't have any wisdom when they make commentaries. I think it's good to give criticism. Actually, there are some. I think there's a website, Missing Links, which is it's a pretty hard. It's not. Yeah, they're pretty serious model builders. You got some major world-class model builders who give presentations on that website, which I endorse. I love the website. I don't use it as much as I should, but you got people like Steven Zaloga on there, and Cookie Silwell, and a bunch of other modeling greats. I mean, these guys are up there with Shepard Payne and Francois Verlinden and Bob Letterman, if not equal to these people. And but one of the guys on there, he wrote an article in Military Modeling, I think it was last spring, and he talked about kind of like the constructive criticism aspect of a lot of these forums. And it was interesting. I should probably, maybe, if anybody's interested, I can give them the volume to that magazine, what issue it is. But he mentioned how, like, what did he say? You know, he put a gallery of a model on there, and he really wanted constructive criticism from his peers, and all he got was a lot of platitudes and, oh, great job, nice work, nice work. And he kind of got a little irritated, because that's not really, I mean, it's nice, but it's not really what he wanted. He actually wanted a critique. So yeah, criticism is good when it's asked for, but I think it could be very destructive when it's not asked for and people just go in and say it, and that just sucks. I mean, that can just like kill a blossoming model builder. And I think it's definitely, it doesn't build up the hobby. I'm always about the hobby first. You guys can worry about your pride and your ego someplace else. That's my personal take on the matter. But I think if you ask for it, that's good. Because I mean, constructive criticism is really good. And you know, maybe it needs to be something that's done on a different forum, like not like a website forum, but like a discussion. Like go personally, send a PM or a email to somebody you know and say, hey, I really want you to take a look at this. Like, you know, if I was gonna build some modern stuff, I'd go ask Norm and Storm and those guys, and I'd seek him out personally and ask them and send them pictures and stuff. But so I guess it's you know, it's just gotta have a little bit of wisdom, I guess. But yeah, you know, I don't like talking about all that stuff, but it's been on my mind a lot lately. Because I hear it on other YouTube videos from other channels or some other guys that deal with it. Sometimes it seems to be a yearly thing. I think it's something we're just going to have to learn to live with. Though I'm very interested about that website, if it works. Aaron Newlands is and another guy. I don't know what his name is. I don't think I know his name. Could be Jeff or something. I don't know. But yeah, one of the things is kind of like have just a nice, safe environment for modelbuilders can just build and not be bothered by trolls and jerks. And not like, I mean, that's a utopia. I mean, the world is made up of, you're just gonna have to roll with it. People are just jerks. I would use other languages or other words to describe how I feel about that, but I've learned in my life so far that there's really no place where you're free of jerks. There's a big jet flying by. I don't know if you guys know, but I live in Colorado, outside of Denver, or kind of like a part of Denver, in Aurora, and we have Buckley Air Force Base is probably just a few miles away, so I got a lot of jets that fly over my home continuously, which is cool if you like jets. Lots of jets flying by, a lot of airfields. This whole part of the United States during the Second World War was just hopping with aircraft. I mean, not even World War II, but sorry about that. I had to swap out the batteries, but again, working with a point and shoot. So yeah, I was talking about aircraft in Colorado, and we certainly they're everywhere. And again, yeah, all the way through the Korea, all the way up to the Cold War, a lot of aircraft, a lot of air bases all around Denver. There were tons of military air bases of all types. They built suburbs on top of them, but some of the military barracks and hangars still exist. There's a museum called Wings Over the Rockies. You can check out their website. Maybe I'll make a link in the description. But that's where my IPMS chapter, sometimes we meet there, and they got a lot of cool jets. And anyway, yeah, the hangars that the museum is in is actually some of the hangars from the original base that was there. So I'm going to wrap up this sanding for a while. It was fun. I'm going to probably keep on working on it later on and get it all nice and trimmed and smooth. So why don't we bring the video back up to head level, and now some closing thoughts. Hi guys. So that was my update number 2, and it was kind of like a live build. It was interesting. I think I wouldn't mind doing it again. Kind of go off and talk about all sorts of stuff. But I'm sure for some of you guys who like those long videos, well, here's my almost an hour long video of me rambling on. So hope it's informative. Yeah, so here's a few slides of what I've been working on, a little close-ups, so you get some better shots. So again, you guys model on, you guys be safe, and I'll see you around sometime. Take care.